The three business monkey. Nothing to see here. I hear nothing and I say nothing. So how do you overcome that? Because very often that's what happens on a daily business, and I guarantee you it happens in your small business as well. You have employees that see something, but they don't say anything. Or they hear something and they don't say anything. Or they say something and somebody else just pretends not to hear them. And worst of all, very often as a business owner, because of a busy schedule, you pretend to listen to people, but you don't really hear them. So they are telling you something and you just shut your ears. You might receive the message, but because you're not taking your phone and making a note, you forgot about it. And that's as well, you might just close your ears and not hear it. And sometimes you don't see what's going on. And very often I see that. I had that the other day when I walked into one of our canteens and I found a cracker laying there on the floor. I went and I picked it up, and 3 people were sitting in that room and they didn't pick it up. So, but you have to lead by example, and that sometimes means you pick up the trash. And I do that quite often, and I then hand it to somebody. If it's like a tool or a piece of equipment that fell down or a screw or whatever, or if it's trash, I walk sometimes on intention with that trash in my hand a couple of meters, not throw it away in that trash can, but walk a couple of meters more to throw it into the next one. Why am I doing it? Because people can see me doing it, and it makes them more likely to do it themselves. And so when you think about those 3 monkeys, maybe you want to put a poster up or a reminder, or I don't know how you want to do it, but it's something that hits me quite often, and it's astonishing. And also from when we buy a business, we see that neglect from the previous owner sometimes. And it's nothing intentional. It just grows over time. And it happens to me as well. If I'm like regularly every day for maybe 2 weeks in one of the businesses and on one of the sites, I grow blind to certain things. I grow blind to problems. I grow blind to process violations, because I walk past somebody and I might see something like just like on the side, which I probably should stop. I should say, don't do it. Please do it this way. We don't want to have this, yada, yada. But because I'm late for a meeting or I have to rush somewhere else, I'm not taking the time to do that. I'm pretty sure we're all guilty of that. Employees, managers, leaders, business owners, investors, we all have sometimes those 3 monkeys. And we had a meeting today, a director meeting, and it was kind of the same thing. So when you think about director meetings, you always think about like when you never were in such a meeting, you think it's like, oh, it's high level and it's like there's gonna be it's all serious and no laughter, and it's not like that. We do have fun in those meetings, right? Even though there are some serious topics that need to be discussed. But very often the topics that gets discussed in those meetings are either a result of the 3 monkeys, or they are in a very close relation to them. And sometimes also because of the directors, because of us. Because nobody, let's face it, we're all human. No one is perfect, nor is there the ambition to be perfect. There's only the ambition to be a little bit better than we were yesterday. And that's all it takes to win. So when you try to do things better, when you try to change stuff in your business, you have to address those 3 monkeys. And maybe while I'm talking here, maybe I'm gonna put a poster up on our notice boards with those 3 monkeys, because people have, like, take it with a pinch of salt. Okay, that's a little bit of humor, and it might just help to overcome that. Because I'm very often having people telling me stuff, and we are doing stuff, but the other thing is as important, because somebody told me the other day, okay, we should get rid of the long good storage because that's going to create a lot of space and we can use that space. And so this is a really good suggestion, right? And I said, it's like, yeah, I heard about that, and I think this is really, really good, and we definitely want to do it. But between the time when he told me versus the time when we're actually doing it, there might be a week on some actions. Some actions, it might even be next day. On others, there might be 3 months, 6 months, depending on the time it takes to plan, the changes that we have to do, the capital that is required. The specialist might not have time if you need people that construct certain things and they need licenses and so on. So it's like, imagine from the employee perspective, you are telling your boss and nothing happens. For that person, it's literally like they could shut their mouth, has the same effect. You could like have your ears closed, has the same effect. Or you might be blind to everything that's going on. So think about those 3 monkeys and think about like what you can do in your business, in your little world, where people just got very comfortable about that. It's very often it's that comfort zone that sets in, and it makes things just easy. And it's like a thing that over time it changes and it changes. I didn't clean up yesterday, so if I don't clean up today, I can still do it tomorrow. It's like, what's the big deal about that? If it's like a requirement to clean up daily, then it gets done. But if it's not a requirement and it's not enforced, then nothing happens. And that's the thing about the communication, and that's also the thing about when you have multiple directors, multiple business owners. If you are in partnerships, it's the same thing. It comes down to the communication. It comes down to making sure that what you say also gets understood. Right? We had that before. It's like not everything you say gets understood. I had that today a couple of times where I always said, as half jokingly, it's like, okay, I think I'm gonna repeat myself, but da 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 da. And it's not because the other person doesn't want it. It's not because my partners don't want me to understand or don't want to understand me or ignore me or it's too loud. But when something is really important, you should stress the point that really, really gets across. And sometimes you have to repeat it that often until the other party starts to laugh and says like, yeah, I can't really hear it anymore. You've told me 10 times and I got that point. And that's sometimes all the difference that's needed. So when you walk the next time through your business and you see people, so watch closely, listen closely, and communicate clearly. And I'm sure with trying to eliminate the 3 monkeys, it will unlock something in your business that you did not see before. Because we have seen that in the last 3 months, since we really started pushing the change. It's 3 months, maybe almost 4. In June it's going to be 4 months. We started really at the second half of January, and we are seeing that. And because we started on one side in the second half of January, and the other side started maybe mid-March, around there, just because of resources and some different reorganization. You see a difference in those sites, how they perform today. They are on 2 different levels, and it's very clear because they have, like, the one side just has that advantage in terms of where they are in that change curve, and a lot has to do with those 3 monkeys. And now we are seeing the pickup on the other side, because they are picking up faster because they are seeing that it really has an effect. But the moment we remove those 3 monkeys is the moment you actually see some real magic happen. Cheers, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.